All right, let's talk about something that pretty much all of us struggle with. It's that sneaky habit that just loves to sabotage our best intentions and leaves us scrambling at the very last minute. We're going to unpack the psychology of procrastination, why our brains trick us into delaying things, and most importantly, what we can actually do to stop it.
You know the feeling, right? You've got that massive project staring you down, the one that's super important, and yet all of a sudden you have this overwhelming urge to reorganize your spice rack. Yeah, we've all been there. That's not a weird quirk. That's the classic procrastination cycle kicking into high gear. And hey, if you feel like you're the only one doing this, you're definitely not. Get this. Research shows a staggering 75% of college students say they're chronic procrastinators. So this isn't some rare personal failing. It's a super common human thing that we can understand and, thankfully, we can change.
Okay, let's dive right in. If we're going to beat this thing, we first have to understand what it actually is. And trust me, there's a huge misconception that we need to clear up from the get-go.
So here's the official take. Procrastination is when you voluntarily delay a task even though you know it's going to come back to bite you. The key words there are despite knowing. We are fully aware that putting it off is going to cause stress and problems down the road, but we do it anyway.
And this brings us to a really important point. Procrastination is not laziness. It's totally different. Someone who's lazy just has no desire to do the task at all. But a procrastinator, oh, they fully intend to do it. They want to get it done. They just can't bring themselves to start. It's a hiccup in self-regulation, not a lack of ambition.
So, if it's not about being lazy, then what is really going on in our heads? Let's get into the core psychology, the why behind all that delay.
Okay, so here's the big reveal. Procrastination isn't a time management problem. It's an emotion management problem. Think of it like this. Your brain is trying to be your bodyguard, but it's not very good at it. It's trying to protect you from uncomfortable feelings a task might bring up, like anxiety or self-doubt, or even just plain old boredom.
And here are the usual suspects, the feelings we're so often trying to dodge. For a lot of people, it's a fear of failure. That's the perfectionist who's so scared of not doing it perfectly that they just never start. For others, it's the fear of being judged, or just the weird discomfort of stepping outside your comfort zone. We delay the task to delay the bad feeling.
But it's not just our emotions tripping us up. Turns out our brains have this little glitch, this cognitive bias that makes procrastination almost impossible to avoid. And it's called the planning fallacy.
So here's how it works. You see a huge task on your list, like write research paper. Your brain just sees that as one giant scary blob. And because of that, we completely underestimate how much time and effort it's actually going to take. The reality? It's a whole bunch of smaller tasks, right? You've got to brainstorm, then research, then outline, then draft. When we don't break it down, our brain tricks us into thinking, oh, I've got plenty of time.
And on top of that, we've got something called present bias. Basically, our brain is hardwired to want good things right now. So the instant gratification of watching one more YouTube video feels way more rewarding in the moment than the distant satisfaction of finishing that big project. It's a constant battle between your present self and your future self, and, well, your present self almost always wins.
Okay, so as you can see, procrastination isn't a one-size-fits-all problem. The reasons we do it often fall into these clear patterns or types. In figuring out your personal style, that is the absolute first step to breaking the habit for good.
So, have a look, see if any of these feel a little familiar. Are you the perfectionist, so afraid your work won't be flawless that you can't even start? Or maybe you're the crisis maker, who kind of secretly loves that adrenaline rush of a last-minute deadline. Perhaps you're the overdoer, so swamped with tasks that you don't even know where to begin. Identifying your style helps you pinpoint that exact emotional trigger you need to tackle.
So we get the what and we get the why. Now for the part we've all been waiting for. How do we actually stop doing it? The really good news is there are simple, science-backed strategies that genuinely work.
It really comes down to a simple 4-step game plan. First, take baby steps. This is your secret weapon against the planning fallacy. Break that giant, scary task into tiny, non-threatening pieces. Second, eliminate distractions. This fights that present bias head-on. Make it harder to get that immediate reward. Third, and this one is a game changer. When you feel that urge to put something off, just commit to working on it for 5 minutes. That's it. So often just starting is the hardest part. And finally, number 4, reward yourself. This helps rewire your brain to connect finishing stuff with a positive feeling.
And I really want you to remember this. You weren't born a procrastinator. Nobody is. It's a habit you picked up somewhere along the way. probably to cope with some tough emotions. And you know what's so great about learned behaviors? They can be unlearned. You absolutely have the power to build new, better habits.
So let's end with a little challenge to put all this into practice. Don't think about the entire project. Just ask yourself this one question. What's one tiny thing I've been putting off that I can work on for just the next 5 minutes? Like right now. The journey to beating procrastination doesn't start with some grand, perfect plan. It starts with one single tiny step.